The year is 2020. The world has come to a halt. Millions infected, cities locked down, borders closed. Scientists, governments, doctors, all fighting an unknown virus. But long before that, thousands of miles away from the epicenters of COVID-19, one man already knew this could happen. He didn't become a star. You didn't see him on the news. He didn't win a Nobel Prize. But it was his research that helped prevent a much worse outcome. This is the story of the virologist who predicted the pandemic and created the tools that may have saved millions. His name was Sergei Alexeyevich Terentiev, and chances are you've never heard of him. Sergei Terentiev was born in 1953 in Novosibirsk. He came from a modest family of teachers and engineers. From a young age, he showed an unusual interest in biology, especially in what he called the invisible world. He graduated from Moscow State University with a degree in biology and defended a PhD in molecular virology in 1981. At the Ivanovsky Institute of Virology, where he began working in 1983, Sergei diverged from typical influenza research and focused instead on the genetic mechanics of viral mutation. He wasn't chasing current diseases. He wanted to know what might come next. In 1983, he published a paper that would later seem eerily prophetic. In it, he stated, "The next pandemic will be caused by a highly mutagenic RNA virus, airborne, and of zoonotic origin." It was published in a niche Soviet journal and never translated into English. No one in the West read it. But Sergei's mind was already on the future. He began traveling, collaborating with ecologists and pathologists in Siberia, the Far East, Mongolia, and even the Caucasus. His focus, collecting biological samples from wild species, bats, migratory birds, small mammals. What he was looking for wasn't a specific virus, but a pattern. He always said the next virus wouldn't come from the lab. It would come from a cave, or a swamp, or a bat's wing. Professor Andrei Melnikov, former colleague. By the early 1990s, the Soviet Union had collapsed, and science funding was rapidly deteriorating. Many top minds left for Germany, the US, or Israel. Terentiev stayed. In 1994, he presented a radical hypothesis at a regional conference: increasing global travel, urban overcrowding, climate-driven animal migration, destruction of ecological barriers. All of this, he argued, was setting the stage for a zoonotic spillover, a virus crossing from animals to humans, undetected, until it was too late. He used data he collected in the field to build early models, essentially predicting the behavior of viruses in overlapping species environments. But the audience was unmoved. Back then, we were busy just trying to get paid. His theories sounded like science fiction. Dr. Yuri Kovalenko, microbiologist. His nickname became Prophet Sergei, not in admiration, but in mockery. His requests for state funding were denied. By 2000, Terentiev was teaching at a regional university in Omsk, his lab reduced to a converted biology classroom. Still, he kept working, at night, at home, alone. Between 2001 and 2010, Sergei built what he called the Z-Genome Map, a hand-curated database of RNA sequences for viruses found in wildlife, annotated with host pathogen interaction notes. Using basic computing power and custom code, he ran simulations of how certain viruses might evolve if they crossed species boundaries. In 2006, he published a working paper titled CoVX, a theoretical zoonotic coronavirus and its receptor affinities. In that paper, he modeled a virus that used the ACE2 receptor in human lungs, just like SARS-CoV-2 would. He didn't just predict the structure. He predicted mutational pressure points, the exact regions of the spike protein where future variants would emerge. But he had no one to share it with. His university didn't care. His colleagues thought he'd gone too deep into theory, and the outside world, too far away. He even tried contacting the WHO via email. No reply. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing this for anyone but myself," he wrote in a 2009 notebook. "But if I stop and it happens, I'll never forgive myself." He began working on a prototype peptide-based vaccine, modeled after CoVX's predicted spike. He tested it on mice with help from a sympathetic veterinarian in a nearby town. It showed promise. But again, no funding, no partners, no publication. On December 27, 2019, Sergei Terentiev collapsed in his apartment and died of a heart attack. He was 66. No one knew what he had left behind. His apartment was modest: a bed, a desk, and shelves filled with handwritten journals, old computers, floppy disks, external drives. His nephew, Igor, a math teacher, was tasked with clearing out the apartment. Out of curiosity, he took the hard drives to a local tech club to see what was on them. A week later, COVID-19 was declared a public health emergency in China. In February 2020, one of the tech club's members, a biology student, realized what was on those drives. I thought it was some kind of simulation project. Then I saw the model names: CoVX, ACE2 binding, variant maps. My hands started shaking. Elena Morozova, graduate student. They brought the archive to the Omsk State Medical Institute. Soon, word spread to virology labs in Moscow and eventually to Berlin. Scientists began combing through Terentiev's work. What they found was astonishing. Viral spike modeling matching SARS-CoV-2 with over 89% accuracy. Variant progression pathways eerily similar to Alpha, Delta, and Omicron. A theoretical universal coronavirus vaccine sketch, years ahead of its time. By mid-2021, several COVID research centers across Europe and Russia had integrated Terentiev's models into their work. In Germany, a new lab tool was named TerentSim, a simulation tool for viral mutation pressure. In Kazan, researchers used his protein sketches to refine early-stage universal vaccines. In 2023, the Russian Academy of Sciences held a memorial symposium in his honor. A lab in St. Petersburg was renamed the Terentiev Virology Center, but he remained unknown to the public. Why? Because he was ahead of his time, because he worked alone, because no one likes prophets, especially when they're right. We build statues for heroes after the fact, but the ones who warn us in advance, we ignore them. That's our nature. Dr. Nina Voskresenskaya, virologist. The story of Sergei Terentiev is not about being a genius. It's about being prepared, even when no one listens. It's about the quiet voices that get drowned out in the noise of now. His name may never be taught in schools, but his work helped shape the tools we use to survive the 21st century's first pandemic. Maybe if we'd listened earlier, we would have been better prepared. But even now, he saved lives. He gave us a head start, and no one even knew.